finish before you give me any kind of rebuttal.
Yes, ma'am.
Because what you did, it feels very deceitful. It feels very backhanded. It feels very devious and malicious. And to be quite honest, they're probably going to laugh at that because they told me to put that out there so that people wouldn't be going to the Dallas County Criminal Integrity Units and questioning them. They had several phone calls and they had a person walk into their office.
Notice what she just said in this part of the phone call. She says that she was telling the public that to reach out to the Innocence Project because people were constantly calling the Crime Integrity Union of Dallas, and that someone walked in there about the Darling case. But that's not what she said in her video. She didn't say, I need you to stop going to the Dallas Crime Integrity Unit and just go to the Innocence Project.
Because they told me to put that out there so that people wouldn't be going to the Dallas County Criminal Integrity Units and questioning them. They had several phone calls and they had a person walk into their office.
I have no idea why it went quiet. He would have sewed her up and sent her home. Project.
Because they told me to put that out there so that people wouldn't be going to the Dallas County Criminal Integrity Units and questioning them. They had several phone calls and they had a person walk into their office.
That's not what she said. So she's changing up, just like on the last defense of the 2020 thing, where she's telling the public that the medical people wanted to keep her in intensive care because of the amount of blood she lost. When we know that testimony from Santos was, had it not been for the extenuating circumstance of her being attacked and cops and everything, he would have sewed her up and sent her home. Okay.
So the Innocent Project wants everything funneled through them. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So by you calling them and telling them, you should check out her TikTok. She's not doing anybody any favor. They're watching my TikTok, first of all.
Good.
I've discussed it with them. I have received permission to speak about Darling's case.
Good.
I do not talk about anything that's going on in their hands. I don't know about what's going on in their hands. The only thing I talk about is what's gone on as public knowledge prior to them sealing the case. Okay?
Yeah.
So nothing I say is secret. There's nothing that they would be upset about. I'm not representing her in a bad light. I'm doing my very best to be a good sister and to keep her name relevant so that people know what's going on.
Absolutely.
It's going to end up being a shitstorm. And when Darlie gets out, I want to be ahead of it.
Well,
make sure that everybody understands that we never stopped fighting for her.
Right. Oh, yeah.
As best as we could, and that unfortunately people like you continue to put out these nasty messages and these hateful, awful opinions about me and my family.
I haven't. Danelle, I as of late, I've been nice.
That message you put out would be received by others as being helpful or being civil. No, it makes you look like a total asshole.
If that's the way you feel, I mean, I understand that, we're on different sides. I don't think you guys are assholes for having different opinions. I don't think.
Well, we don't call people a tattle on you.
I wasn't. Well, how was I tattling if they already told you to do that?
No, that's what I think. That's what it looks like. They know I did that. They asked me to do that. There is absolutely no reason for anyone to feel like they did a tattle on me. I'm a grown-ass woman.
Yep.
I do whatever the fuck I want.
And I never.
I don't need you
Right.
to tell me what I should and shouldn't do.
Did I tell you? Did I tell you? Did I tell you you couldn't do something?
Brian, what was your purpose in doing that?
the same purpose that you have in spreading information about your sister's innocence.
And what is that? Tell me what that is.
Well, your purpose is that you believe she's innocent.
And what was your purpose in calling the Innocent Project and trying to make me look bad?
Yeah.
What was your purpose in that, Brian?
Well, I'll tell you, I honestly, in my opinion, I don't believe that they asked anybody to put that out on social media.
Okay, so now you're calling me a lie.
No. What I said was, is I don't believe that they asked. No, I said I don't believe that. I don't believe in hell either, but you know what I'm saying?
You don't want to believe in anything, and it doesn't matter. Your opinion is irrelevant. It doesn't matter what you believe in or what you don't believe in.
Yep.
I'm doing what I have to do. I'm doing what is right.
Yep.
I'm being a good sister. I'm being a good citizen.
Absolutely.
It's been 27 years on death row for a crime they didn't do
I agree.
because of shoddy police work.
I agree. I agree. I would agree with you.
Brings light to the fact that jurors really need to be educated before they step foot into that fucking box.
Mm-hmm.
Then I have accomplished one thing in my life.
Well, I'm not here to stop you. I'm not.
But what was your goal? Like, why? What were you trying to do?
Well, it draws attention.
It feels like you're calling them in an attempt to get me in trouble or to make me look bad. That's what it feels like.
What it does on my end is it draws attention to what's being said about the case. It draws attention to non-supporters. My goal is.
It makes you look crazy. It makes all of y'all look crazy.
Okay.
You get sucked into that group of non-supporters, and it makes you look like a fanatic lunatic.
Danelle, I used to be on the other end of it, and when your mom would ask us to call the Texas Innocence Project, we would do that. And I didn't feel crazy when I did that on the support end. I didn't.
Because you're looking for support, Brian. You're looking for support. You're begging for help. But what you're doing is begging for somebody's attention. You're begging for a response from me. You want to feel important by calling the Innocent Project. Just stop.
Danelle,
Brian.
if I wanted,
Danelle,
if I wanted to, Danelle, we have an open Facebook messaging. If I wanted a response from you, I would just message you. Haven't been bothering you.
Why didn't you then, Brian?
Because if I would have messaged you and said, why are you doing that? I don't. I don't have any control over anything. I don't. And I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to get you to stop. You have.
What was your goal? Because
I'm relishing in.
Right now, it feels very.
Well.
It feels very hateful. It feels very deceitful. It makes you look like a complete jerk. And I really thought that we were past that. I thought that we were at a level that we could communicate.
Well, Danelle, we can't. We are communicating.
You're not a rational person. You can come to me first and say, "Hey, what's the deal with this?"
Okay, I'll give you an example. I tagged you the other day about something Darren said, and I said, "No, can you explain this?" I came to you and I asked you. You never answered.
Because I'm a fucking busy person.
Right? You're not busy today.
Full-time job that takes 50 plus hours a week. I work my fucking ass off.
Right. 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 Yes, ma'am. That's been there for several days, but yet you have time for this phone call.
I do not find it amusing or entertaining to bicker with you about something, and I'm not going to comment on things that have happened after the case because it doesn't matter.
Yes, ma'am.
It's not relevant to me. What Darren said is not relevant to me. What Grandma Darley said is not relevant to me. I'm not defending anybody. I'm not sticking up for anybody. I'm not making any kind of theories for anybody. It is not my job to do.
Well, Danelle, what I asked you is why that you said on the last defense and said that they put her in.
You were mad because I didn't respond to you tagged me and you called me innocent.
No, I never said I was mad about that. You were saying I should have asked you first, and I've given you an example of where I've asked you something and you didn't reply.
Did you ask me in my messenger?
No.
Did you say anything to me in my messenger?
No, and I told you publicly that I would never message you. I'm not going to bother you. Yeah.
There's a thing called respect.
Right.
Whenever you have respect for each other, you can communicate at a healthy level, and things like this won't happen.
No.
But when you are not respectful and you go behind my back,
It's not behind. Janelle, I didn't go behind your back. I'm very aware that you're watching my videos. I'm aware of that. It's not behind your back.
I'm not watching your videos actually.
What it? Okay.
Because you're in a video where you're calling the Innocent Project ugly or
Right. Well.
I don't understand
Okay.
why you felt like that was helpful in any way to anybody.
It's not helpful to your cause. Well, let me tell you.
You're trying purposely to be deceitful and malicious. That was malicious.
Well, I apologize for that, but I did have a question for you that you didn't answer. It's like when you were on the last defense, you said that Darlie was moved into ICU because of her blood loss, and that's why they put her in there. And that's different from the testimony. You have reminded us both. You've reminded us.
Explain something else to you, Brian. The testimony from the medical professionals is about as valuable as the turd in the toilet.
Okay. Well, but the other day you were telling me I needed to look at the testimony and match it with the record, so I'm confused. That's all.
Yeah, you should. I want you to compare the two because Darlie had a bleeding vessel in her neck that required the surgeon to hold pressure on it. Dr. Dillon says profuse bleeding, active bleeding. Like there's no doubt that she was actively bleeding. They said she had
Right.
a traumatic anemia.
Right.
Meaning she had a blood loss from a
Yes,
trauma.
ma'am.
Okay.
But they also both said she had no blood transfusion, and they both testified that it had it been not been for the extenuating circumstances of the attack that she just went through, that they would have sewed her up and let her home. Okay, so they did testify to that though. That's what I'm telling you. What they.
Do you think that they would have placed an arterial line in her wrist if she was stable and could have gone home that same day?
Janelle, I'm telling you,
I'm telling you, Brian. No, stop.
I'm telling you the testimony.
Let me finish this because this is where we're having this problem.
Yep.
The testimony is absolutely the opposite of what all those medical records show.
Okay.
All of it. Medical records are the legal standard. That's
Mhm.
the documentation of what was happening in the moment when it happened.
Okay.
That is prior to any prosecutor saying anything to them. All their fucking meetings, don't tell me that didn't persuade their comments and their answers to those questions, because for damn sure it did. I know exactly how that works. I've been prepared for things like this as a nurse. I know how it goes.
Yep.
I know how it goes.
Right.
I'm a nurse,
Right.
Brian.
I know that. And I saw how. Well, I saw how you described the word superficial after we argued about it, and I found testimony where they meant minor wound. And I.
It is not. No, that is not at all how they use the word.
That is how they used the word.
To say that her wound was superficial.
Yes, they did, man.
His wound was superficial to the strap muscles.
They did in that one report. Okay, well, Danelle, I've got a video up with their testimony that says that it's super. Well, you're saying that they never said it. But you're saying that they never said it. I'm telling you they did. And if the district. Okay, right. So, what? Okay. Okay, take a breath for a second. Okay, I'm not trying. It's not a game to me. Take a breath for a second. No, take a breath for a second and give me. No, I don't. Give me a second. Just catch a breath. Well, I'm not trying to say that my son is innocent. Well, I know what else doesn't work is me yelling at you and saying, "Let me talk." You're right. So I'm just asking you. Can you hear me? Hear me for a moment. If Greg Davis in the district of Dallas have, okay. Now, give me just a second.
Else, before we have this conversation, I'm going to preface this with
Mm-hmm.
I've been a registered nurse for almost 19 years.
Yep.
I have seen every kind of nursing from top to bottom.
Mm-hmm.
I've been involved in care from top to bottom. I have seen how nurses operate. I know how they work. I know how medical words work. I know terminology. I know exactly what they're saying in every single one of their notes. I don't have to go look it up or Google words. I know every single fucking word that they documented. I know everything they've said. I've read their testimony. I understand what you're referencing, but you're missing the point. The point of all of it is the medical record is the legal standard.
Okay.
That's what happened at the time.
Okay.
Whatever their opinion was after the fact has clearly been affected by the district attorney and all of their lovely meetings.
And now,
They will never convince me otherwise.
on the other hand, now if the district attorney in the city of Dallas have painted this picture that looks so clear to people who are on a different side than you, then my anger, if you guys find her exonerated and that she's proven innocent like you guys want, which I hope you do, my anger would go towards the district attorney's office and the state of Texas, who put an innocent person in jail for 27 years and let a killer run free. That's where my mind is at. But the picture that they're painting, it makes it, to me, it's a solid guilt. Now, you have to paint a picture of
Exactly what they wanted.
right,
They wanted to paint this picture of solid guilt.
right. So,
That was their goal. They
right,
had nothing else, right? They had very, very circumstantial, very blow smoke up somebody's ass evidence. Anything they had could be twisted to support her original claims. Every single piece of it.
I,
Not a single bit of it can be undisputed.
if,
The only thing that can be undisputed is that unidentified bloody fingerprints and the other fingerprint 85A, 85J, every single one of them unidentified. Every single one of them in the crime scene.
get them identified. You know, I'm not against you. I just don't.
I wish we could, right? But it's not just like you go to the courthouse and say, hey, can you run this for me? No, it's tied up in the legal system. Anything that you do, anything that you process, anything that you want to even discuss or look at has to have an order through the court. You can't just say, hey, we think this should be tested.
Right, I know that.
And if they don't want to test it, then they kick it back to the next level, or they push it over to the next level, or they don't even read it and just say denied. The plaintiff has not convinced or met the burden of proof, or whatever their verbiage is that day.
Yeah.
You don't have control over anything
Nope.
in the legal system.
Oh, I know. And I don't look. I know it's personal for you, but I do not hate your
Very
family.
personal.
I don't hate your family, but you're gonna have people that challenge you when you come on social media, and I'm just gonna. Right. And I'm gonna be one of those people, so I'm gonna piss you off. No matter what I do, I'm gonna piss you off.
You don't have to, though.
I don't want to, but you know, just as much as you.
Here's how we handle this. If you don't want to piss me off, then be respectful.
I am.
Open conversation without telling me I'm a liar. See my point of view every once in a while and say, okay, I understand what you're saying there, but I disagree. Fine.
Okay.
Disagree.
Okay.
You don't have to agree on anything.
Right, and if
I don't care if you think the sky's purple. I really do.
no, Danelle, if you're so 100% sure that she's innocent and you can prove it, then we can discuss it on a panel on my live respectfully.
I'm not interested in getting you viewers.
But what? No, I'm not. No. I don't make any money off of this. I don't.
I don't
No.
know that your motives are pure. You definitely are a bitter, hateful person, and that is demonstrated by what you just did today.
Yeah.
Like, there was absolutely no benefit for anybody in what you were attempting to do.
Well,
Now, what you did is laughable because
okay.
they specifically instructed me
Well, thank you.
to do that.
Well, if I'm doing stupid things, then it shouldn't make you mad. It should only make Darlie look more innocent.
It does.
Okay.
Everybody knows there's these groups,
Mhm.
and these groups are so devoted to hating on people, and it happens in every case. I don't know why Darlie's is so much worse than everybody else's.
I'm not hating on you, Danelle. I've said good things about you, even if I have a different opinion. It's like, how can somebody hate you?
I don't know. I'm doing my very best.
Well, we
to do
don't.
what I'm supposed to do.
We don't.
We don't what?
We don't hate. I don't. I can't speak for other people, but I don't have any hate. And you know, I've admitted that people are snappy at you in my group, so I'm not going to do that. I don't care what you say to me, how mad you get at me. I'm not going to disrespect you. I'm not doing it. I made that promise. Well, if I have it, my opinion might disrespect. My opinion might be disrespectful. Yeah.
Doing things like that is disrespectful because you could have come to me and said, "Hey, what is this about?" And I could have explained it to you, and then you could have called them, and then you wouldn't sound so fucking dumb.
Well, if I sound look, you've snapped at me a couple times, you cursed at me a few times, and you calling me hateful, and I have been nothing but respectful to you during this conversation.
What you did today was the definition of hateful. I'm not sure I don't know your background. I don't know how you were raised. I don't know what you understand to be kind and what you understand to be respectful.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to say this to you. If you want to have any kind of communication with an individual, you have to be respectful in the sense that you go to them with your questions instead of going behind their back and purposely trying to get them in trouble.
I don't know how you think that's behind your back when I put it on a social media for everybody to see. I didn't do anything behind your back. I'm not sneaky.
You called them without talking to me about that. When that call was directly about me, you called them to tattletale on me is what it sounds like.
Right.
Everybody's doing this procedure.
Well, good.
Why is that good?
Because I'm on the non-support side and you're on the support side. That's the difference. And it's going to be frustrating for you. You should be able to.
You really have no idea. And it is not about being frustrated. It is really not about that. It's about wasting time. Why? Why do you think that your voicemail is valuable enough to waste their time? Like that? And why do you think that my time is, if you deserve any of my time?
Well, let's see that. You are not having you absolutely are not defending your mother.
Asking me, why did Darlie say this? Why did Grandma Darlie say that? Or Big Darlie or Mama Darlie or whatever you call her. I don't care what they have done or said.
Right.
Right. You have said that we're in poor taste, and I'm sure that she has misquoted things in the past. We have been fed information for people that turns out it wasn't as useful as we thought it was, and things fell flat.
Right.
In those moments, I'm sure that she said things because, first of all, we believe in Darlie. We know that she's innocent, and the justice system will always prevail, right? That's what we're thinking.
I hope so.
Yet, here we are, 27 years later, and we're still begging for somebody to see the truth in this.
Yeah.
It is so disheartening to know that there's a whole group of people out there that refuse to see any sign of intelligence. And I'm starting to think that the lower, I'm not even going to say that. You know, it is what it is. I can't convince everybody to realize.
Do you think that Danelle? Oh, I can't. Oh, but I can be convinced because remember, I was a supporter.
What does
Do you think that? Do you
convince
think?
you?
Do you think that everybody that believes Dallas justice system and believes in her conviction is dumb? Do you think we're stupid and ignorant? That would be.
Female DNA on it, so it had to have come from a female.
No.
That's not how that works.
No.
And that's the point in all of this. People don't understand.
Right.
They don't understand that only 1% of all crime scenes have useful DNA.
Oh, you're right. You're right. You're right. Well, let me give you an example.
Where's the evidence of the intruder? Well, unless they were shot or stabbed,
Yeah.
they're probably not bleeding.
Right.
Unless they ejaculated right on Darlie,
Right.
not going to be bleeding.
Right. Right.
And the one that chewed gum or had a cigarette while they were attacking her, there's not going to be those items.
Right. I agree.
There was a lot of fingerprints collected, and they were never from
Let me ask you something. Let me ask you, as far as like when Greg Davis said, if you step out that window, you'll soon come to a flower patch with mulch. Do you understand that to mean that he said there was mulch under the window that wasn't disturbed? No, he didn't. No, he didn't. I've got it clipped exactly what he said. I've got it. I do too. No, he didn't. Please send those to me. What he says is, remember, Greg Davis went through the scene and he saw that. What he says is, as if you're to assume that the intruder left out of this window, he would immediately step into a flower bed full of mulch. And there is a flower bed full of mulch off to the left, but right? No, he said you would very quickly. Well, no. It's just that I was talking to a supporter about this the other day on the live. She said he most definitely did say it was directly under the window. He never said that. He said you will very quickly step into a flower bed with mulch in it. And very quick, he didn't. What the entire sentence is: the dust on the windowsill was undisturbed. But if you were to assume that an intruder came out this way, you would very quickly step into a flower patch full of mulch. And the reason that he would step in the mulch is because from the window to the gate is 23 feet. And from the window to the sidewalk to the gate is 35 feet. And that was said in testimony.
And that's irrelevant because people are going to go through the path of least resistance. There's flower beds, there's plants, there was a chair, there's stuff right
Yeah, there was two chairs. There was two chairs directly in front of the window that would have probably led someone away from the sidewalk, in my opinion.
I disagree. I think if you look at it, there's nothing in front of the window when they arrived. It was a clear path to the sidewalk. Instead of going around those other chairs and then going back through that mulch. That makes no sense. People are going to go down the sidewalk. It's a natural instinct to stay on the sidewalk.
Yeah, I would assume. But it's not a natural instinct to climb in somebody's window and kill their two kids. So why would they have a natural instinct on the way out?
Because they were not thinking about killing kids when they went in there. I do not think that they went in there with that intention. I don't think that was their plan at all. I think that they were frazzled when they left and they were hauling ass and they went right around that sidewalk to the gate. It was an easy trail. It was not hard to get from that sidewalk right to the gate.
So that would so going down that sidewalk to the gate would be a reason why there wouldn't be any footprints in the mulch.
Exactly.
That's exactly what Greg Davis was saying.
There's no footprints in the mulch.
Right. I know. I'm not trying to trip you up. But the thing of it is, Danelle, is you're always going to be pissed at me. But as strong as...
I'm trying not to. I'm trying to have a conversation with you right now. But I have a bad taste in my mouth after you go behind my back and try to tap on me.
I get a bad taste in my mouth when I see that you're putting TikToks up about people that are haters that have no lives. I have a life, and I don't hate. I don't hate. Well, that's a whole group of people that I've been in the groups with them for 12 years.
And they're your good buddies, and you're going to feel like you need to defend them, even though what they're doing and how they're acting.
I tell you one thing about non-supporters: if we put something up that's incorrect, we will correct each other. Supporters don't do that.
So why can't you correct them when they have bad behavior?
I've had supporters do that to me. I've had supporters do that to me. I have. Not no. Oh, you haven't. You want to put those videos up? Everybody knows the Darling supporters came after me. We had to move. You
outside of that group of people that Pam Collins has cultivated and manipulated.
I can show you a Darley supporter who's putting up my job, my human resources director, and telling them to call in and get me fired. I can show you 2 times that Darley supporters did that to me, but I'm not blaming that on you or your family. Because you guys. Well, I'm just you're talking about. You're talking about. I just don't think.
It's to either correct their information that they have that is incorrect, or to call them out on being a bully. Because that's grown adults. There's no reason to bully anybody. If you disagree, move on.
Yep, there's gonna and there's gonna be none of that on my end. I can't say that you won't be frustrated with the things I say. Well, Danelle, I wasn't thinking that you would get in trouble because you said that they told you to call. So if you told me, I heard you say, I heard you. I feel like you're kind of making her look guilty, honestly. Well, that's what I'm going to be doing in video form. What I'm going to be doing is taking, because I'm not. No, I don't think you're dumb. I don't think you're dumb.
I don't.
Yeah. I haven't, Danelle. I've said nice things about you.
That's what you just said. You just said your next video is going to be about.
No. When you say show me something that I've said wrong, what I do is I look, and if you say something that's wrong, I'll take what you said and I'll go to the file. Well, first of all, you said that the superficial wounds were not described as minor wounds, and I found them several places in the testimony. They were. You were just telling me that they lied. You were just telling me that these doctors lied and they didn't do that. They never said that.
No, sir. What I said was they were manipulated to have those kind of opinions, but the medical records say otherwise.
And what the testimony, right? And you sat on there and said that they put her in ICU because of her blood loss. She didn't lose that much blood. She was only in the ICU according to their testimony.
Okay.
She can rest.
Let's break this down, Brian. Let's break this down. Okay. She was attacked at, say, 2:30.
Yes.
Or
Right.
She gets to the emergency room at 3 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
She's in the ER for 13 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So right now we're looking at 45 minutes that she was bleeding.
Right.
When the EMS got there on scene, they had bandages and they were trying to occlude the bleeding.
Right.
They were trying to put pressure on
right.
it so that it would bleed to death, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say 3 months prior, she had a CBC drawn in her doctor's office. Her hemoglobin was 14 point something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
14 points.
When she got to the emergency room, it was 11. The stat CBC that they did, it was 11.
Mm-hmm.
So she had already lost 3 points of her hemoglobin.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to understand that blood loss does not reflect immediately in a CBC.
Mm-hmm.
So you usually wait 12 hours to repeat that CBC, and sometimes 24 hours, and you'll repeat it several times to see where it trends.
Mm-hmm.
The last documentation that I have seen of her CBC was that it's in court testimony that she had lost an additional 2 points of blood from the time she arrived in the ED. So
But you said the testimony was wrong. How's the testimony wrong when I say it, but it's right when you say it? You said their testimony.
That is not an opinion, right? That is not
Well, their opinion was that they would. They're both. No, their opinion was that they sewed her up and sent her home. That's what they said. Okay. Okay, so one part of the testimony, they're not telling the truth. In another part of the testimony,
No, that's not at all what I'm saying. I'm saying that they're giving opinions, and they're deviating from the medical record. This is a legal standard. There's a big difference. Their opinions were, at that point in time, during the trial, that they felt like her wounds could have been superficial or self-inflicted.
No, they
That was
said
their
they-
opinion.
they said
that
they
was
were
only their opinion.
the doctor when Mosty had the Dr. Dill on the stand and he was trying to say the superficial could mean the direction of a wound or a placement of a wound, and Dr. Dilwan said, nope, you're using that word in the wrong way. That's exactly what he said, and I've got it up. And now he's a doctor and you're a nurse, so so that doctor is lying. No, that's not his opinion. Okay, so his opinion was Mosty described superficial the same way you did. He did. Now I can't, because you said, and I'm a nurse, I know, but that was a doctor that said. And so does that doctor not know? He said you're using that word in the wrong way. That's exactly what he said. Now, that's what the doctor said. That's in testimony. Okay, well, what he said in testimony was, Mosty asked Dilwan, can you use the word superficial to mean directional or a place of the wound? And Dr. Dilwan said, no, you're using that word in the wrong way. That's a doctor that said that.
Well, that doctor did not understand.
So no, he laughed at the question after that. I understand what people say when he said.
Don't understand the context of it.
No, I understand. He was asked, "Can superficial mean directional?" And he said, "No, you're using the no." He said you're using the word the wrong way, and he went and described it as abrasive minor wounds right after that. Vanell, and he's a doctor. And according to superficial to the strap muscle, meaning right above it. And I guess, but everywhere I've looked, but that doctor said that they did not mean it that way, that those wounds were minor and abrasive, and there was one wound that they just left alone because it was superficial. That's exactly what he said. He said because it was because it was superficial. He didn't say it was superficial to anything. Wait a minute. You said I'm not saying that wound was not superficial, meaning that wound was not minor, right?
That the wound was superficial to the strap muscles. Okay. Now, as right now, looking at that wound, telling you what her wounds were and describing her wounds, that 1/4 of an inch or 1/2 an inch wound beside the stab wound on her arm that went all the way to the bone, that particular wound is the only wound that could be classified as superficial in the sense that it was not deep. The muscle in her neck.
Oh, so there are two meanings for the word.
Yes, I just said that.
So okay,
I've never disputed that there's two words.
Well, now we first got into this conversation about the word superficial. You said they never used that word superficial on the stand at all, and I got you recorded saying that.
No, I did not say on.
Oh, you want?
Go back and listen, Brian. I never once said that.
If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Okay. Well, it's not my intention. I don't. Danelle, on my end, the only thing I can tell you is that I absolutely do not think this is a game. I wish that you weren't the person that I'm bickering with, because you suffer no matter who did this. You suffer.
Leave me alone,
I-
Brian.
I
You
can-
don't have to dig at me. You don't have to purposely call me out. You're choosing to do that. Those are your choices.
If
You're
you,
making the choice to call me out.
if you,
You're making the choice to argue with me. You're making it your life goal.
no, it's not.
It's
See how you
because it
say,
gets tiring.
you know, I actually have a wife and 2 kids and lots of appointments. And it's not my life's goal, but it's something that I'm passionate about.
Use your passion. Do it in another fashion.
Okay.
But don't attack me and what I'm doing.
Well, I'm not attacking you if I'm just responding to you, and I'm not going to be rude about it if I do.
That's not it at all. You went and called the Innocent Project in an attempt to get me in trouble.
Isn't that funny though? Because I made myself look like an asshole. I give you guys.
I don't think it's funny at all because
Well, it should be for you guys because I made myself look stupid doing that. I made myself look.
It's very disrespectful for you to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I have never done anything to call you out. I've never done anything to try to jeopardize what your goals are.
Because you can't.
That's my goal. Go for it.
Hey, blah.
That you can have a difference of opinions because you can have any opinion you like. And I'm going to be respectful enough to allow you guys to have those opinions. But the problem presents itself when you come onto my page or my videos.
I never
you
did.
say things that are either inaccurate or rude, or you call me a liar, or you say I could be guilty by party of the law of parties. All of those things are very disrespectful and very
No, I've made it clear to people that I don't think you're purposely misinforming, but I did say that if someone was purposely lying for Darlie, then they would be guilty.
Well, you should go back and read
I don't think
conversation because you definitely said you would be guilty.
You would be. You would be if I said I don't. I said I don't think you. I said I don't think. I said I don't think. I said I don't think that you're intentionally lying. I don't think you're a liar because if you were intentionally lying, you would be. But I don't think that you're lying.
If I was trying to cover up a crime, but this has been processed. This has been convicted. I cannot be found guilty by party of the law of the parties at this point in the crime.
Right. Absolutely. Okay, I agree with you. You're right. Right. You're right. Right. There's some things that you won't touch on that have to do with the case, you know.
Such as?
Well, you know, I asked you in a message privately about that, and you didn't want to talk about it, you know. But we're talking. Okay, no, listen, we'll talk. What I'm talking about is the way a person was affected as a child and how that could lead into some kind of psychosis later. You didn't want to.
Here's what I'll say about that. I will address it with you right now. I have no knowledge of that. I've never asked about that. I've never asked my mother about that. I've never asked anybody involved about that. It's not my business. It's not my place, and I don't want to.
Right.
I don't know what was done. Therefore, I can't say what it was or how it was done, or if it happened, or if it didn't happen.
Right.
That's not my story to tell,
and
that is not related to this case.
That's a great answer. But it would be related to the case if that was something that was true. Because a lot of times when there's abuse as a child or psychological, it carries on to behavior in the future that can be.
And what do those people do? When they have abuse as a child, then what do they do, Brian? They abuse their children. And do you know that there was never any signs of abuse in Deborah?
Absolutely. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, absolutely. They sure were. I agree. I don't get it. I don't get why. That's the thing with motive in the United States is you don't have to have one. I don't get it.
But there is always one. There is always a motive.
Almost, yeah.
Whether you have to prove it or not is irrelevant.
What do you think the motive? What do you think the motive would be for an unknown intruder to come into the house and do that? Would be.
It was one of two things. It was either they were going to burglarize the house, break in and steal shit, and stall Darlie on the couch, or it was an intentional attack on Darlie. They wanted to rape Darlie. And the more that I look at the case and the more that things line up, I do definitely lean towards this was somebody that wanted to attack Darlie, that wanted to rape Darlie. Darren's car wasn't there. Darlie had been sleeping downstairs by herself for a couple days, off and on. There was a lot of things that would support somebody wanting to rape her.
Right.
She dressed in a fashion that brought attention to herself.
Well, she's
she was
adorable.
beautiful. She wore
Yeah.
makeup.
Your
Yes,
whole,
she
your
was
guys'
very
whole family.
attractive.
You
And
guys,
not just pretty, she was sexually attractive
sure she was,
to 90% of men.
and she was very.
It definitely leads me to believe that this very well could be an attempted rape.
What do you think? What do you think about the partial rape exam that they did perform there at Baylor?
Exam, and
Right.
here's why.
Mm-hmm.
Those rape exams include fingernail clippings.
Mm-hmm.
They comb your pubic hair.
Mm-hmm.
They check your whole body, and they document every single little tiny
Right.
deficit in your skin.
Right.
That was never done.
And you saw.
If that had been done,
You saw.
they would have documented the bruises all over her breast. They would have seen the bruising on her arms. They would have collected pubic hair. They would have collected everything. And whether or not he actually penetrated her,
Right.
or whether or not he truly intended to rape her,
Right. Okay.
her panties are missing.
The-
Her panties were never found.
Okay, okay, yeah, they can say. Yeah, I mean, I understand that you say your panties, but we don't. And honest to God, I'm not trying to be shitty. We don't have any proof she had any on when she went down there. She had all she says she does. She had on a long Victoria's night, a secret nightgown on. She didn't really have any reason to wear any. But what I'm saying, the
You guys always tend to make an excuse to
What-
nullify.
well, you could honestly say that her panties are missing, but we could. Well, what color were they?
Conversation that they had in front of the paramedics.
What color were they?
I believe it was a white pair of
That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? We don't know that they're missing. And they also said that she was in shock on the way to the hospital when they had that conversation with the paramedics.
Well,
The paramedics did a.
because again, if you look at her medical records and you look at all of those vital signs compared to what they're testifying to, it doesn't match up.
Yeah, we'll take a look.
Was she in hypovolemic shock?
No,
Very well could have been. Absolutely very well could have been.
but they did a
You know how I know that?
they did a field shock test on her.
5 liters of blood, which would have been about 2.5 liters, is a lot.
How much did they
That's
give
a
her?
lot of
How much blood did they give her at the hospital?
She didn't need any blood because she days prior. When she left that hospital, well, I don't know what she was when they left that hospital. The lab draw that they documented showed that she had lost 2 additional points of blood,
That's good.
which would have been 5 points total.
It's good that
If you are not symptomatic, they will not transfuse you. And at 9, she was not symptomatic.
Now, as far as the partial, they did the partial rape test. They took lab.
They did not do a partial rape test. Let's clarify this. They did a speculum exam and they took some swabs to check for STDs.
Right. They called it a partial. Okay, I'll give them that. They called it that. But what they requested was after the lab results came back, if it was positive, then to let them know. If it was positive, they probably would have took her to Parkland to go further. I'm assuming it
They would
wasn't.
not have taken her to Parkland. That's not how it works. They would have collected more evidence if there was something positive, but you can't collect any additional evidence if there's no semen. And there was no. I would assume now. You know how it is when you assume shit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they sent that to be utilized for sperm.
Yep.
I know that they were ruling out any kind of STDs, and they would have treated her for any kind of sexually transmitted diseases
They
had she
I
popped
think
positive?
I don't know if they were listing the a couple different chlamydia, herpes. They were talking about the herpes. I don't know if they were ruling it out, but she did
Yes,
state
that's
this.
what they were looking for. When
Yeah.
they submit those swabs, they have to say exactly what they want to be tested for.
Okay.
And typically in a hospital setting, you're not testing a swab for semen.
Okay.
So I don't know that that was included in their exam.
Yeah,
I
okay. Okay.
have not seen that anywhere in any of it.
Oh, yeah.
What the doctor did say was that there was no evidence of trauma in her vagina, meaning there was no tears,
Right.
there was no obvious
Just,
bleeding.
just a white discharge, which is probably normal, actually.
Yes, very normal.
Uh,
And to be 100% honest, she's had 3 babies. So you're not probably going to have
right.
any significant trauma unless it is a very violent, brutal rape. And I don't think that the intruder had the opportunity to get to that point.
Well,
I think that he was interrupted, and I think that shit hit the fan, and he had to leave and jump ship, and here we are.
okay.
And I fully think that his intention and his expectation was that he killed Darlie when he left that house, because it took a lot of force to cut her neck and to stab her to the bone. And most people that get stabbed through the neck, it's not something you expect people to live through.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
the intention is to kill that person,
we
right? When you cut somebody's neck, you intend to kill them.
Usually, yeah, that would be that'd probably be the goal. Then, and what we look at in criminal profiling is that usually when it's a sexual assault and there's children involved, that the criminal will generally use them as a pawn to get the woman to submit. Darlie doesn't say that this person ever said a word to her, never gave her a command or
She
anything.
has no recollection of that attack. The only thing she can truly remember is that somebody stabbed the
Come on, baby boy.
All right.
Now we know, and our brains process things together, and we know
You've got 2 waiting for him up there. You've got 2 waiting on him.
and that there was a struggle, and we know that based on what we saw at the table was shifted and knocked over. She had injuries that were consistent with defense wounds. There was a lot of things.
Have you seen? Have you ever seen?
Scratches?
Have you ever seen the defense wounds on Travis Alexander's hands?
I don't know who Travis Alexander is.
Alexander is Jodi Arias' victim. I don't know if you know.
Oh, okay.
I go look at the defense wounds on his hand, and he was stabbed several times, and he tried. But I mean, if you look at what Darlie's got, and what the difference, you know, his,
I understand that they are not the same as
no, it wouldn't eliminate it. No. Right.
Yeah, there's Lisa Warner. All right, I'm gonna try to figure it off. It says device is not connected.
Right. And a lot of criminals who use knives to kill will get cuts on their hands as well.
Stop sharing. Turn that off. I see. It says you're gonna need a mic or a cam on that, or it won't allow me to bring you up, Lisa. So what we're doing is I'm gonna do a quick a live, see how many people we can get on the non-support side to come up and tell us why they feel that Darlie's guilty. If they want to tell us about their background, they can. If they want to tell us what kind of basement they live in, they can. If they want to let us know what their disability check is like every month, they can let us. But in response to Danelle, who just totally thinks that we're all scum of the earth type of people, that we don't have anything better to do with our time than to harass her. So I'm going to try and get some people to come on. Lisa's trying to jump up here. And if it doesn't work for her, I will run my phone number across the screen. Access is blocked. Okay, must be something on your end. That's the way I was going to do it last time. Let's see how this works. I can do that. Let me turn my Google on. All right, I got that going. Do what? I can put my phone number in and you can call it. And then if you call it, you'll be on the live. I'm going to try this again with Lisa. Yeah, with Lisa, it shows that you're sitting backstage. And now it shows you backstage again. But what it's telling me is your devices are not connected. You'll need to connect a mic or a cam before I can add them. So if you're on a phone, you probably have to put a headset on that's got speakers so we can hear you. And I know Lisa's across the sea, so she might not be able to call. But anyways, Danelle just speaks about us, and she considers, like, if she says something that isn't correct, like a couple of the things that we just heard here, and I come back at her with what is correct or what was stated, she considers that an attack. She feels like that's all we want to do here. We just hate them. And no, we don't hate them. We just have a particular passion for the two that are right behind me. We don't hate them. We hate the lies that are being told. We hate it when people put out things, information that they know isn't true. We hate that. It's still telling me, Lisa, that you need devices not connected. Let me check. That's what makes us mad. It's not, there's other cases that I'm passionate about. And, Ken Mays did say one thing that he admires. He admires when people stand up for what they believe in. And that's what we're doing as well as you. We believe in her conviction. So, we're standing on that. I'm standing on that with my name on it. I'm standing on that. So, you got to admire that. I hope there'll be some intriguingness there. Let me see. That's what it does. It takes you to your other Facebook. Do what? Oh, I'm getting it. Oh, let's see who we got here. I think I know who's on the other end. Okay, so this. All right, you got YouTube. It's because you don't do YouTube. You're not a YouTube creator, so it's really easy. Yeah, and you're the one that digs. You dig and you find things and you post it to us, and we go on there. You're like our little researcher. Well, I'm on StreamYard, and you guys ain't being able to catch the link right now. You're live through over the phone. No, I can do it one at a time. Lisa's trying to get on, but hers device is not. I don't know. I put it in the chat. Christy said she can't log in either, but we'll figure it out and get some streams going. It's been a long time since I run live. So I used to have panels with 7 or 8 people on it, but Lisa's trying to catch it. That's what it does. Call that number, y'all. And then if you call the number. I had Coop up here before, and I think she had to call in. But I'm trying to get a bunch of us together to speak up for ourselves. The way Danelle was speaking about us on Ken Maines' show, where she's that we, we're living on disability. And if anybody is on this, yeah, well, she is. I didn't bother her family either. All I tried to do is leave support. And when I left support, they, yeah, they started to attack me. They did, all of them back then, every one of them. And I got tired. See, I'll fight back. I don't run off, and then I put it down for a long time, for years. But since Danelle's coming, 5 years I had been off this case, right? So I seen that Danelle's trying to come into the groups, right? And remember, Christine didn't like it. And I'm like, no. So I'm like, behind the scenes, I'm like, no, let's just let her in. I'm going to be as nice as I can to her. We're all just going to be as nice as I can to her, and we're going to get the same result. She's going to turn around and say that we attacked her. She's telling people that I'm harassing her, and that, yeah, and the police getting involved. I called down there. They know my name, because if she calls and makes a false report on me, I'm gonna tell you what, I got something for her, because I could truly show that she's harassing me. So you can't. But they do watch. They're just watching to see what she's saying about the case. They're not watching her because she's doing anything wrong. Right. Yeah, and that's not the best thing that she needs to do. I mean, yeah. Well, they can't get her for her opinion. That's the thing, and she doesn't understand. Can't get us for ours either. Well, they could if they wanted to, if they really wanted to go legal. Yeah, they could get her for slander. But what she said was that I have done everything in my power to harass her, and I've never messaged her. I've never called her. And if she don't like my videos, well, then log off. But I she can file a civil lawsuit against me if she wants. Good luck. Good luck for what? Because every little clip that she's done, like when Sully was talking about my son's case and she put them little laugh marks under it. And when somebody asked where I was on June 6th, 1996, and then they'll put them little laugh marks on it. Yeah, go ahead and in there, go to the courtroom and play a victim. When you keep calling my house over and over again, and I've told you 3 times that my kids were asleep, and her response to me was, "I don't give a shit." Good luck, civil suit. Good luck. Mhm. Yeah. I'll give it to you like I put it like this. I'll explain that, because Danelle does have a very active life with her kids, and she wanted to raise her kids and keep them away from all that. Now her kids know what she's doing, but they're not so much involved in it. I mean, they still do a lot of stuff with their kids. I mean, those two. I mean, those they have a wonderful life. They really do. But this thing with her, yeah, and financially that's good. So financially they're doing good. Their home life is great. I mean, she's Danelle seems like an excellent mother, but she's got this thing with she feels like her sister is innocent, and it's like embedded into her so much that she don't want to hear anything else but that. She's flat out said, "I just want to be right." I've heard her say that. And then there's a couple times. There's a couple times she was talking about Sandra Halsey, you know, the court reporter, and the court reporter's daughter was the one that was supposed to review those tapes, and she could have seen that they were wrong, but Danelle goes, "That's her daughter. She's not going to tell on her." I'm like, okay, that's not the best thing for you to be saying right now when your sister is locked up for killing people, and you're out there saying she didn't do it. You're not going to tell on her. You're not going to tell on her. That's when Darlie did most of the staging. Yeah, because that's when she did most. Right. And I even asked Danelle about, you know, when Darren and Darlie gave their first written statement, they didn't mention anything about getting in an argument or a separation or anything. You know, he told her a dream about me and went to bed. But later on, we found out that she asked him for a separation that night. So the question is, if the police are trying to help, then why didn't you tell them that you asked for a separation that night? Why didn't you tell them? And Danelle told me that that was irrelevant. I said, well, apparently it's not irrelevant. It's relevant enough for them to keep it out of their statement. She goes, well, maybe she didn't. Yeah. She goes, well, maybe she didn't remember. I said, she remembered putting carrots in the soup. But here's the thing: if two parents are in a fight, in the argument in the house, and then an hour and a half later, two of their kids come up dead, and there's nobody else around, that whole thing, yeah, we were arguing. Yeah, we were. She asked me for a separation. Yeah, it would have been done quicker than 7 months because they knew it and they knew it. They knew to keep that out. They knew it. Okay, now Lisa's on. She's if you watch the video, can you, Lisa? I put you on the. Yeah, Lisa.
Yeah.
Do you hear me?
Yeah.
You hear me? You still hear me? I'm trying. Lisa popped up on the stage, but she's not able to say anything yet. Somebody asked me in the chat. They said,
I can hear you.
no, I got you over the phone, so I don't know how it works with Facebook. Hi, Lisa.
Hi.
You're on. We can hear you, and then Cindy's on too.
I can't hear anybody else talking but you.
That's because she's not saying nothing right now. But Lisa, it's so crazy. It's so crazy. But once we get it figured out, a system, we can do this every so often and respond because Danelle's got us blocked over there. We can't really respond. And they say mean and hateful things. And Lisa, you're really very well versed in this case too. Like everybody's got different things they do. like Cindy, she'll dig up everything, and she's brought out files and stuff that I hadn't thought about for the longest time. She just reposted, so she's our little researcher. But Lisa, you leave some really good posts in the groups and stuff. I know that you know the case really well. iHeart asks, "What do you think Darlie's motive was?" That's a very good question because I'm glad we don't have to prove motive because I know that she was financially aggravated. I can't explain what anyone's motive would be to justify that. So thank God we don't have to prove motive. Well, we can all. Well, I'm doing this mine's on YouTube and StreamYards, so we'll be able to play the whole thing back later. Yeah, I heard Lisa too, but I think she's probably got a delay because she's across the sea. Lisa,
Yeah.
tell us what makes you feel like. Tell us what makes you feel like she's guilty. Tell us what makes you feel like Darley's guilty.
Well, there's just so much against her. There's no possible way, in my opinion, that she isn't guilty, because just every single thing points to her. Every single thing points to her. The blood trail, the everything points to her. There's no evidence that comes from outside of that house. There's no trace of an intruder. And I think that she's one of these people that put on a good show and just didn't let everybody know that she didn't really feel for her kids the way she said she did. And a lot of people do that. People don't realise that people can have very, very dark thoughts, and they're not going to tell people, you know, when they have really dark, bad thoughts, because that's just not acceptable socially. And who knows what she was really thinking, but somebody who could do something like that, obviously she was putting on a show a lot of the time, and I think a lot of her life was putting on a show.
Yep. Don't you feel like that an indication of her dark thoughts fell out when she was writing writing her diary that she wanted to? Yeah. She said, I don't
but
want
even that, Bri, I feel like she was wanting that diary to be read. I don't think that's even to me, everything was a show, even what she wrote in her diary.
Yes.
And I've known people like that just everything is, they're never truly honest.
And you know, June 6, 96 is not the first time she claimed a man accosted her. It's not the first time.
Oh, absolutely. Yep.
Because at Darren's graduation party from tech school, you know, she felt like she wasn't getting all the attention, so she decided she's going to walk away from it, you know, and then she told Darren that she was accosted by a man on the way. Yeah. And you know, that's, yeah. Hang on just a second. Nicole, will you call Zach and tell him to stop calling for a minute? Okay. Yeah, just a second. Just a second. I got. Oh, okay. All right. But the indications from her diary was telling me that she was having weird thoughts when she said, I don't want you to grow up and see a miserable person every time you look at me. Right? That's very. Yeah, my YouTube is live right now. Mm-hmm. You're on there too. Hear your voice.
You see, why would she say she was a miserable person?
Yeah, because she was miserable, and they were saying that she wasn't having any psychological problems. But you know,
she's definitely got a personality disorder, that's for sure.
Right, and I think that personality disorder and some of those psychological problems that she withheld inside of her stemmed from when Dennis Stahl did what he did to her. And,
I do too.
And they do not want to touch it. I
Nope.
hear you. They don't want to touch that because they can't. We can hear you. We can hear you. But so they don't want to touch that subject because that's where they can't talk their way around. There's two different reasons. One is it shows that Darley was damaged from an early age. And for two, it shows that the family will protect someone that has hurt a child. So they can't touch that. Why didn't you tell on Dennis? Why didn't you? They don't want to touch it. And
they don't want to touch it either, Bri, because it shows motive.
Right.
If she's screwed up, like psychologically, emotionally, that shows motive.
That's exactly what she did. And you know, Danelle is just like her.
Yeah.
And I dropped Cindy. Maybe she can come back a different way. Danelle is just like her, you know, because it was really like I can't get off of this thing where we were chatting on Facebook. She and I, she was kind of yelling at me, and she kept calling like that number, like that thing you just heard ringing. She kept calling, and I was like, "Well, I can't talk to you right now, but I could chat." And I did that 3 times before she told me I don't give a shit. And I'm thinking, I just told you that my kids were asleep. It's a school night. And your response to me asking for a boundary is you don't give a shit. And then to sit here, I listened to her on Mains, Lisa. I know you watched her on Mains. He just let her talk. Mains is a TV show. He's for a TV. He wants clicks and views. He wants to put money in his pocket, based off of Danelle's tragedy and based on Devin and Damon being in the ground. He wants to put, he can't go off on her and expect to run a true crime channel that he can't even say how he really feels because, he's looking for money. And that's the difference. When Mains kept saying, I don't care. I'm not vested. I haven't seen everything. Okay, then, dude, if you haven't seen everything, then why?
Yeah, exactly.
But she was on there saying that, most of us people were basement dwellers, probably had disabilities, living off the government money, nothing to do with our lives. But I can tell you, in these groups, I've seen attorneys, doctors, lawyers, all kinds of cops, all kinds of different races and creeds and colors and profession, people from across the sea. And in my opinion, there's more people that believe she's guilty than not. Well, how do you feel about that? Now you're Aussie, right? You're from Aussie. You're in Australia. Yeah. So and the general consensus over there with the Aussies I talked to is that she's guilty. There's one or two that are like, well, it's a controversial case. So I didn't mind it. And you've been following this case for a long time.
Yeah, right. I have. Yeah. I first read a book about her when I was, I'm 61 now, and I first read a book about her when I was a teenager.
Yeah. Well, and when I first saw her, I just felt like that, an injustice had been done to her and that Darren did it. And that's what they wanted. See, they wanted everybody to shift. In 2002, when Darren put out his affidavit, they wanted to shift the focus, over to Darren a little bit without getting Darren in trouble. That's why he could say, wasn't it? Yeah, it was pretty slick how he could say, I asked multiple people to help me do an insurance scam. Well, how come that family isn't just dogging him to this day? You need to tell us who you asked.
Because I know it's not true.
Because it's not true. And it's everything that they're doing is put out there to raise doubt. Just like, Danelle goes on Ken Mains, she's sitting there all cute and looking, but she's not saying, what I just played is the real Danelle. That's the real Danelle. So, and I wonder if, I could ask Ken Mains this, when he gets his check for that video, to think about Devin and Damon. That's all I can say to that.
Yeah.
Let me see. I'm going to my YouTube live. I think some other people want to come up. And I can't sit as long as I used to because my back. She made a hit on me when she was saying some people live on disability because they're back. That was a direct hit at me because she knows that I'm getting ready to have back surgery and I haven't been at work hours, and that that there is disability insurance for us who have worked all of our lives. We just have to ask for it. And if they repair my back, go back to work. Let me see where my live is. And turn the volume down. I'm looking at my YouTube now. The only thing, all right. Now Matt Orchard, he did ask me to not disclose the plot. Somebody's asking me in the chat, Lisa. He's asking me not to disclose it. I put out a little bit too much already, but I know that if you watch his videos, it's going to be just like that. That's the best way I can tell you.
Okay.
So and he has 235 K subs. So you've been following this case since you were a kid, and which book was it? Do you remember?
I can't remember, but it was, one of the ones that was against her.
Yeah.
And I think I had probably an advantage because a lot of people go, oh, a mother couldn't do that. And then look at her. I always say, if she looked like a, 200-pound truck driver woman, nobody would be questioning that she could have done it. It's part of it is because of how she looks.
Yep.
So there's that. And then there's the fact that she's a mother. But see, if you grow up, not all mothers are wonderful. And if you grow up with a mother that's not, you can well believe it.
Right.
But people who've not had that experience, they think, there's no way. And I couldn't do that to my children. And they're forgetting that there's all sorts of people in the world.
Right. I can tell you that Danelle texted to me one time, you do not want me to turn into my mother. That wouldn't be good for any of us. And it's up on my video. See, what I show is receipts. I'm not going to sit, and she tried to play around with the word superficial with me. And we all know that they mean they're not deep stab wounds. Even when I read to her what Patrick Dillwan said, about it being directional, he said, no, you're using it the wrong way. It means an abrasive, not minor wound. She just said the doctor was wrong. She told me the doctor didn't know what he was talking about.
Everybody's wrong.
Yeah, she said that, as far as the thing with her dad, I asked her behind the scenes if I could speak about that with her publicly. And she told me, no, I don't want to touch on that. Absolutely not. And after we got into an argument, she started being mean to me. I put it up. But Darlie said
when she has turned around and sort of admitted that it was true, she's put it in a way that's not at all what Darlie said.
No, and I got her with this because she kept telling me she didn't know anything about it. But Darlie, when Darlie went out on Mother's Day to go see there's nothing wrong with her going with a bunch of women to see some men dance. There's nothing wrong with that. But the fact of the matter is, she said she left her boy. Dennis came over to get the boys that day. And she said that the only reason she let those boys go with Dennis is because Danelle was with them. Right. So, but if Danelle doesn't know anything about, hey, you need to watch, don't let him be around them. If she doesn't know, like she says, then how could she protect the boys? That was my point to Danelle. And then she got mad at me and started calling me a moron. Yeah, this is live right here, Cindy. And the thing is, she feels like that she's more than welcome to get out there and express her opinion and show what she feels are facts about her sister being innocent. But we can do that too. And we've been doing it longer than she has. There's people who've been doing it from day one. We've been digging and investigating. She's not doing anything. You're going to slide over to you can't get some leeway for your sister, so you slide over to the law enforcement YouTube, right? That you've been trashing law enforcement for 20 some years. You're going to slide right over to law enforcement and tell them what a victim you are.
Mm-hmm.
And he's running. When he's sitting behind that camera, he's not law enforcement. That's production. And he knows how he has to act. He can't get on that. He can't get on there and say, well, I think you're lying and I don't appreciate it. I can, I don't appreciate it. And I think that, your sister deserves what she got. So he might lose subs for that. He might lose subs for the way he's treating her as a victim. He knows that.
Yeah. Well, I was still disappointed.
You were disappointed in Maines?
No, I just felt like it was more of a damn cancelling session for her.
Yeah, it was. He was letting her vent, and he'll make.
And vent. I mean, there was no sort of comeback, and I thought, well, it's just the Danelle show.
No, he got 5,000 some views off that, so he'll be able to buy him a whole lot of silly string. But
it wasn't what it was going to be. I mean, I know that he was interviewing her, and an interview though is a back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just letting her ramble on and on and on, and then every now and then saying something.
Well, I feel like he's got 111,000 subs, and there are a lot of views there, and I feel like out of a lot of those 111,000 subs he has, some people have worked all their life and developed some kind of injury that doesn't allow them to go into the workforce like they used to. And he allowed her to say, well, it's probably some people on disability with their back living with other people. He didn't correct her. He didn't correct her.
I know.
Because
And
there's
for her
men.
to say 90% of us, I mean, if she's going to exaggerate about something like that,
So
she exaggerates about everything. And that's just one. I mean, 90%? Are you kidding?
Mhm. I hope every disabled person that's subbed to Ken Maines or is subbed to her TikTok unsubs, because you're living off other people's money. Actually, Social Security, what we have in this country, you pay into it in your work life, and then if something happens, you go back and ask for some of what you've already paid into. So you're not living off other people's money, and that just ticked me off.
So it's different over here completely.
Yeah, especially.
It's a different system completely. To get onto disability here is very difficult, actually.
It's difficult here too. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's really,
it's really hard.
I don't know.
And I am a high intensity disability worker. I work with high care patients. So, I take great offense to her saying that.
Right, because you really have to prove it.
You do. You really do.
You can't just walk in there. Now, see what I've got is degenerative back disease with arthritis in my hip and my back, and severe stenosis with impingement. I get surgery on the 22nd. They're going to do a laminectomy on me, but it's painful for me to walk or reach. And over the last year or so, I haven't been able to work like I was and make, because I've always been a back. I had to physically work. And I haven't been able to do that. My job's accommodated me. She says I don't work, but my job's accommodated me. But you're only allowed to make a certain amount while you're in waiting for Social Security here. It's just barely enough to pay what I owe on the land for this house.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's the same over here. I mean, you've really got to go through an awful lot, and quite often over here they will actually first of all refuse you just straight up. Even with all the evidence, and then you've got to apply again because they try to get out of paying it. But
they do that here.
You can't just say, "Oh, my doctor said I had a bad back," and there you go, I've got it.
Yeah, they refuse it the first time here to hope that I picked up some attorneys, but I've got you could the MRIs and stuff that I've been getting. It's just totally undeniable. They just can't do that. But that doesn't mean, like my wife, she was born with cerebral palsy, and they denied her the first time, and she had to go back. She gets disability. My wife gets. She's got hemiplegia, hemotropy with extreme epilepsy form of cerebral palsy, but she would much rather be out in the workforce. She's college educated. She would much rather be out there in the workforce earning way more and doing something good than to be sitting home. The people that are on disability don't want that check. They want to be healthy and go to work. So it's going to cut my pay in half, way in half. Yeah. But at any rate. So I'm going to try to figure out a way that we can do more lives for non-supporters to come up and speak on themselves, because we're not stupid people. Your background is that's hard work what you do, Lisa. But we're not living in a basement nowhere.
No.
I'm a dad. I got teenagers at home. I've been, I got grandkids. And I'm fighting. All my life is about medical stuff right now.
Yeah.
But I'm going to keep on going live, and we're going to learn how to get more of us on here, because she's got us blocked and she watches everything I do. So if there's something you need to say to Danelle or Soli or any of them, they're going to watch this. You can't help it. You can't help it.
Good.
And so, but I do want to say
said that, I'm going to have to go now, Brian, because I've got to go to actual work, because even though it's Easter Sunday.
Yes. Thanks for coming up. I just totally enjoyed it.
No worries. I'm glad I could get on.
All right. Let me. I'll kick you off now. There, I had kicked her off in case you didn't know. So I used to go live all the time, like every day, and this was easier and easier and easier. So what I'm going to do is I want to give the non-supporters a platform to speak on if they want to. It's you can bring your own name. You can tell what you want. Do know that the supporters are very nasty people. And over the times that I've been doing this, I've had my jobs called. I've been threatened, harassed, all kinds of stuff. They put people. That's what they do, and I'm not blaming that on Danelle or Soley or anybody else. The main thing that they will do is play victim. They will pretend like the person that's giving out the truthful message as to why their shenanigans and their bullshit is not true. They will pretend that that person is evil. That person is stalking them. That person has threatened to SWAT them. You know, they will tell you that the FBI is looking out for that person, which they're saying all that stuff about me. I have never once harassed any of those people, but I'm not going to let them people come to me with their bullshit and think it's going to fly. You know, Danelle, that's pretty rude what you said about disabled people. You know what? Because what your mom lived on. You know, is it funny to you that she's been having heart problems all these years? Right? For the last few years anyway. No, that's not funny. It's not funny to me. It's not tit for tat. Maybe you need to think about what you say when you call people hateful and evil and bullies. I don't give a shit. Remember that? I do. I won't. That was the darling coming out in you. So we're going to continue to try and do this. All right, right now I'm going to shut it down and go into groups and talk to y'all. We're going to figure this out so we can get 4 or 5 supporters up here or non-supporters up here and talk about how they feel and tell some people about themselves.